Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. Tonight we have a jam-packed, loaded show full of nothing but rookie talk. The NFL draft is over. We have a bunch of players going to different teams. We have some big draft risers, as they say, some draft losers, as they say. So without further ado, let me introduce my co-host and tonight the producer of the show, this fine program, Justin Bowerly. What's going on, Justin?
What's up, man? What's up?
Oh, we're just hanging out, talking rookies. This is a big day. I started my draft. Okay, this is weird. I know we're in a league together, and I didn't start that draft, but I started this draft. But I did start. This one was scheduled before cut, by the way. We were supposed to do this draft on Monday, and I put in the chat. If these two people say that we love you and please start the draft, I will start the draft. They did it. I didn't think they would. They did it. These people do not like me whatsoever, but we did it. We started the draft a little bit early.
I'm actually fine not starting yet. Last year, league that we were in together, we started Saturday, the Saturday of the draft, which was tough. So while day 3 picks were going, we were already drafting. This gets a week of overreactions, underreactions, actually seeing where these people are landing and let the ADP settle itself, let people's overreactions not get the better of them. Because earlier, Friday, we had Xavier Worthy way higher. And I'm not going to say where he's at now, but he's not way higher anymore. So we had Malik Neighbors ranked way low, and he's no longer ranked that. So that's the overreaction that we all got rid of now. Now we can actually draft with our brains, not our hearts. So I'm excited to start drafting. I got 2 drafts starting on Saturday, 1 next weekend. So
yes, I have a bunch of drafts starting this weekend. It's my daughter's birthday this weekend, and we will be at Busch Gardens all day, May 4th. May the 4th be with me as I try to face the sun, the elements, and I'll try not to drink too many beers while I'm there. It's Busch Gardens, by the way. We have to at least ride the beer line once in a while. That's what we call it down here in Tampa, the beer line. The beer ride, actually, the beer ride. So without further ado, before we get into our rankings and break down where these rookies went, I have to remind you to please subscribe to the show, hit that like button, turn on those notifications. Make sure you go to our website, ousffpod.com, where you can sign up for Super League, which Justin will explain here in a second. Make sure you follow us on X, TikTok. We're putting out daily videos. We are slacking this week. Don't worry, we're going to get back on track maybe tomorrow. We do have videos in the can to be released, so make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube for our little shorts. And if you're enjoying that, please leave a comment. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. We can always make some corrections, make it better for you guys. That's what we're here for, to make content for you, the viewer, not for us or any other analyst or expert out there. So Justin, please, without further ado, explain the Super League. How can we sign up? Where do we go?
yeah, I think one day I'm just going to record a video so I don't have to explain this every episode.
I said that multiple times. We should do that.
I'm going to just start playing the Extra Life video now. Yeah, so Super League is a charity best ball league. Should be super fun. We're hoping to get as many leagues as possible. It's a lot of people. Some people would say it's like Scott Fishbowl. It's a charity league. It's fantasy football with your friends, but this charity league is going towards the Children's Miracle Network to help those families in hospitals with their kids. That's not a fun time, I assume. It hits home for me. My dad was a part of the Children's Miracle Network when he was a kid. So, we continued that on with my dad's podcast, actually. And now we're going to continue it on with this league. But yeah, best ball league got some twists in it. So it's not just a standard best ball league. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I didn't just cut out there because I see my Wi-Fi saying you're struggling. Cool.
A little bit, not as bad as Dave last week when he went on his Justin Fields rant. He was like, but it happens, man. Internet. I've seen the Streamline commercial too many times. Like, is your host having connection problems? Subscribe to this, guys. We have that StreamYard. Pick it up.
Yeah,
fix it. All right. And make sure you follow, of course, the network at Finn's Talk Sports Network, Twitter, X, everywhere you can go. I guess it's the same thing. If you saw me on the Saturday show, by the way, they did a whole weekend long, Thursday, Friday, Saturday draft live show. I was fortunate enough to be part of the live show on Saturday, and I ended the show. You goddamn right I did. Sorry, Bobby. I apologize. Muscle memory. I was leaving the show and I ended the stream. I said bye.
Closing time.
I was so ashamed. Like right away, I'm like, what did I just do? I did pop. Look, I was pre-gaming for a Lightning game or a hockey playoff game, and I wasn't. Either way, they got back online. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the quarterbacks, Justin. We have a lot of players. Obviously, Caleb Williams going where he went. The Chicago Bears at 101. Jaden Daniels, he was drafted to the Washington Commanders. And the biggest one for me, J.J. McCarthy went to the Minnesota Vikings. Right there, those three guys, we have them all in our top three. Which landing spot do you actually like for your ranking, though?
Landing spot isn't like what team they went to? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, like landing spot. Like where do you think like Caleb Williams might be the most talented, but actually who's going to be the most successful in their spot?
I mean, I said this last week. I don't think Caleb Williams is the most talented out of those drafts. I think Jaden Daniels is. I do not like Jaden Daniels' landing spot with Washington. Yes, they have Terry McLaurin. Yes, they have Austin Eckler. But after that, like, who do they have, really? I mean, Caleb Williams, I think, is probably set up for the most success with the team that the Bears built around him. They actually gave him talent, unlike, the last quarterback that they had. They've got 3 wide receivers that could all be a starting caliber wide receiver on your fantasy team. They got DeAndre Swift, who is a starting caliber running back on your team. They got Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. I mean, this offense is loaded. Now it's up to Caleb Williams to succeed. However, I think the best landing spot is JJ McCarthy. I mean, we didn't exactly know where he was going to go. We thought maybe New England would take him. Maybe Denver would take him. Didn't like either of those spots. He would have been maybe QB5 for me if he landed either of those spots. But Minnesota landed him, and at a pretty good price. I mean, with the 11th pick, I believe. And he goes to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. That's a solid lineup for a rookie quarterback that might need some help. But yeah, I have JJ McCarthy at QB2 in my rookie rankings.
Wow.
Because of this landing spot.
Now we're on the topic of quarterbacks and Caleb Williams, and we do have a question in the chat that I do want to get into because it correlates with this topic. From Cody Anderson. What's going on, Cody? Thanks for joining. Hey guys, I have Allen, I'm assuming Josh, and Brock Purdy, and I'm considering trading Brock Purdy plus picks to get Caleb Williams. Do you think I should or just roll with Brock Purdy? I have some problems with trading a proven quarterback that's going to get the job done with weapons around him, with a crack staff organization that has everything. Like the 49ers know what they're doing, right? It's not like Brock Purdy's inside with the Houston Texans, the previous administration, or the Denver Broncos over there in that clown show before Sean Payton showed up, which it might still be a clown show for all I know. Whereas Caleb Williams isn't a clown show, and that's being overlooked. They have a new coach. They have a new staff. I get it. But everything starts at the top of the organization, which is the ownership. Hopefully, they get everything sorted out, and it seems like they're doing it. They try to get Justin Fields a weapon. They went out and got DJ Moore. They had Cole Kmet. They had Darnell Mooney, who's actually in Atlanta now, who will put up pretty decent numbers. Like Justin Fields wasn't set up for failure. The offensive line was, but not the weapons around him. So did the offensive line improve that much for Caleb Williams? Did it really? Is he going to be running for his life? Is he going to have time to get the ball out to his weapons? Is everyone going to mesh? Is Keenan Allen going to accept the role of maybe a third option on this team? Is he going to be a problem? We don't know these things yet until it actually happens. We saw Keenan Allen thrive with Justin Herbert, a rookie quarterback, a young quarterback. Maybe he can go in there and say, hey, Caleb, your job is to get me the ball. I'll never forget this on Hard Knocks. Justin Herbert said, my job is to get you the ball. And Keenan's like, you're right. That's my guy. Hopefully Caleb has that same relationship with Keenan Allen. Not sure. I like Brock Purdy. I'd stick with Brock. He's got the weapons around him as well. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, CMC, who's just a cheat code. Just pass it to him for 4 yards. He's gone. Right?
For
That's
60. Yeah.
exactly. That's easy money. I'm sticking with Purdy. I'm sticking with what I know. I don't want to get rid of a good thing just for something new that could be just as good as Brock Purdy. He could be as good as Brock Purdy, or he could be a bust. I'm sticking with what I know. That's me.
No, I agree with you. I still have concerns about Caleb Williams on the Bears, obviously. I would probably stick with Purdy as well. I mean, we collectively have him as QB 13. We have Caleb Williams as QB 12, which to me is not enough to give up all of these picks and Purdy just to go to move up one QB ranking. You're gonna stay with the for sure guy, even if they trade Ayuk or even if they trade Debo Samuel. Ricky Pearsall is basically their new Debo Samuel. He plays the same kind of gadget wide receiver player. They're not going to just destroy this offense. The fact that they didn't get a trade done during the draft makes me think more that they're going to keep at least one, if not both of them, for this season, and then work some kind of trade at the end of the season or at the deadline if things are just literally not working out. But I would definitely keep Purdy. Roll with Allen and Purdy. I'm sure you'll be fine. Stick to whatever position you are because you don't want to get all the way up to the 101. You're going to give up way too much to get to that position. Stick with what you got. Get a good wide receiver. Call it a day.
And I will add with this, and then we'll move on to the other quarterbacks on this list. You have Josh Allen. You have Superman. You have Super Stud, right? All you really should need from your second quarterback in a super flex is the steady Eddie guy.
15 to 18 points.
Give me that baseline. Yes, it's nice to have Allen and Mahomes or Allen and Jalen Hurts. It's nice. It really is. But in reality, you're giving up way too much to get what? Maybe 2 points per game extra, maybe 1.5 points per game extra, and that's maybe. Stick with Brock.
Yeah, because I mean that extra 2 points a game from your super flex position is great. But think about the extra 10 points you'd be getting by getting a good wide receiver to replace a bum wide receiver. Like you're going to get more value out of staying where you are.
Drake May went over to New England. I absolutely hate that. And Bo Nix to Denver. I absolutely hate that as well. I was snaked today. I was going to get Bo Nix at 111. Someone took him at 110. I was so hyped for that because at 106, if Dave was here tonight, he would call me a fraud because I drafted him at 106 today, and he was my first rookie drafted this season. So I'm pretty proud of myself for actually changing because I thought this guy was going to be a total bust, wasting my time, but he actually landed in the best spot. I think JJ McCarthy, if he would have went to Chicago, he would have failed. But he went to Minnesota, where I think it's a more stable organization, better offensive line, not by much. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not. Who's that dude from ESPN? He's been there forever. Anyway, I'm not some offensive lineman. You know what I'm talking about? Mark Schlereth. No, Mark Schlereth. I don't know how it works in the trenches. What, is he still there? I don't watch ESPN.
I don't know.
I have no idea. He was one of my favorites, though. You're too young.
I don't really watch cable TV. So, no, I'm not too young for Mark Schlereth. Oh my God.
You're too young for Mark Schlereth. It's all.
No.
Hey, you're Gen Z, bro. It's cool. It's all right.
I'm not Gen Z, actually.
Can you just play? Yes, and can we send this kid to what's that? Improv school. Anyway, JJ McCarthy landed in Minnesota. He is actually my number 3. You have him above Jaden Daniels, which you said Jaden Daniels is the most talented quarterback in the position or in this whole draft.
I had Jaden Daniels at 1 last week, but I can't get over the fact that Washington is just as bad as Chicago when it comes to developing a quarterback. So I went with the guy who has more weapons at 1 instead of 2.
Yeah.
But I did bump Jaden all the way down to 3.
Yeah, all of these quarterbacks should be taken in the first round. I can't get this out because somebody drafted him in the first round of my league. Michael Penix Jr. was drafted in the first round of my league at 111. When I missed out on Bo Nix, I traded out. I got 201 and I believe a late second round pick 211 to trade out from 111. After Bo Nix was taken, I was left with a few receivers. I was left with Brian Thomas. I was left with Worthy. He was there. He was draftable. I was left with Benson, the running back. I was also left with Keon Coleman. Those were my options at 111. And I thought, well, I'll be fine with all of those guys. Like, I'm good. I'll get any of those guys at 201 when I trade back. I didn't know 111 was going to be traded up for a free spot. I didn't know we were all playing bingo and that's our free spot. And this guy just wasted a bunch of time and wasted all our time taking a rookie that's not going to play for 3 years. When do you feel comfortable drafting Michael Penix Jr.?
When did we feel comfortable drafting Jordan Love? That's the real question. Never. Honestly, Michael Penix is going to be so far out of my draft spots. I'm not taking him in any round this year. I don't care. I'd rather get him as a waiver.
That's not true. That's not true. You take him in the third round or late second. Trust me, I'm in the late second right now, and I'm looking at the options.
Maybe third round at the very earliest, but I'm not taking him with the first or second round pick at this point. Had he been literally drafted to one of 31, okay, not 31 teams, but
if he was backing up Mahomes, I'd sure take him. Let me tell you.
If he was drafted,
if he landed in this spot, let me tell you, Buffalo, that's a perfect spot. He'd be a first round pick. Okay, I'll let
if he was drafted in New Orleans where Spencer Rattler was drafted, okay, I would take him with maybe like a second round pick. He was drafted where they just paid their quarterback $180 million for 4 years. When's he gonna play? Like, are they hoping maybe Kirk Cousins gets hurt again and now they have the backup option already? Like, come on.
Hey,
we're not gonna see Kirk Cousins do what Aaron Rodgers did and play 4 whole plays and then be out for the season.
We don't know.
I mean, we don't. We really don't. So
I've been defending this pick for real life since the pick happened. I think it's a good pick for them in real life. I do. Because
if Michael Penix is that guy, then great. They got a good one.
I heard a stat somewhere.
They got their 66
quarterbacks played last year. 66. More than that's
fair.
Double. Exactly.
That's fair.
So and we also had a team trade for a backup quarterback. I think we had 2 teams trade for a backup quarterback. I think the Cardinals did it too. Josh Dobbs, same player, by the way. I understand why Atlanta would say, you know what? Let me go get a quarterback now because next year we may not have a better chance to get a quarterback. And if your future's sitting right in front of you, and you believe this is your future, this is your guy. Like it's an investment. If you think this is going to make you billions of dollars, but it's going to take you 3 years, you would do it.
It's just it's the fact that they picked him at 8 when the Jets were trying to trade up to 8 to not draft Michael Penix.
You don't know that.
They could have got more capital.
But they didn't know that at the time. Look, it's like today. We have a buddy in our league who wanted Brock Bowers, and he was going to take him at 4. And I'm like, you could trade to me at 6, and I won't take Bowers because I want the quarterback. And he's like, no. What if the guy takes him at 5? Then I lose. So he just stuck with his pick and said, I don't care about this or that. This is the player I want on my football team, on my fantasy football team. And no matter what, I'm going to take him because I have the right to take him there at 4. So the Atlanta Falcons, you can second guess them, you can question them, but they did what they thought was best for their franchise and for their future. And you just don't pass up on that. If he's a generational player like you think he is, or going to save your team, or going to sell you 1 billion tickets, or get 1 million season ticket holders, or whatever the case may be, you got to do what you got to do to get you can't just hope he falls when you trade back. You can't hope nobody else has the same idea to trade up. You have to be aggressive and get your player. That's all.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
I've been very passionate about this. I can't stand the people criticizing them about it. Like, geez, it's not like they trade up to get a damn backup center that's not going to play for 3 years, or a backup running back that's not going to play for 2 years. They went out and got the most prized possession, the most important position in sports.
I think Spencer Rattler sees the field before Michael Penix Jr. does.
Possibly.
I think, maybe Jordan Travis even.
We're not even talking fantasy football anymore. All right, let's go to the running backs because they're quick. The top 2 guys, that are going to be drafted anywhere near their first round should be Jonathan Brooks, who we all have at 1, and Trey Benson, where we all have it 2, minus Sean, who is one of our writers. You should go check out his stuff on OUSFF Pod. They do great work. We have 2 new writers. They're crushing it. Great stuff up there on OUSFFpod.com. Brooks 1, Benson 2. I've seen them both go. I've seen Brooks go late first, and I've seen Benson go middle of the second. Are they that far away?
I think the 2 of them are like 1A, 1B. And then after that, there's a little bit of a gap. I do think they're both late first, early second round picks right there. That's where I would be taking them at. You assume if Jonathan Brooks comes back fully healthy, Carolina's going to start him week 1 as their RB1. Trey Benson, I could 100% see him taking over James Conner. Good Lord. Which running back am I talking about? James Conner. Conner hasn't played an entire season in his career. So Trey Benson's definitely going to get time there. And I think as soon as he does, he's going to prove that I'm the running back. Like, we don't need James Conner to be playing football anymore. And I think that's going to be it. So yeah, I would take them as late first round picks, early second round picks, but not before that. Unless you're playing in a non-super flex league, then maybe they move up a little bit. But even then, the wide receivers are more important.
Yep, I agree with everything you just said. At that point, there are at least 8 receivers I would take over Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson. I am looking more at focusing more on the running backs that might pop off that you can get way later, like late second round. I've been trading for 211, 212, like late second round picks for this reason. I would like to see if I can get a Bucky Irvin that late. He could pop off. Rachaad White's job isn't that safe. Bucky looks like an explosive player. Looks like he can make some moves, and they're needing that. Rachaad White's fine. He's just, he's just there, in my opinion. He's not nothing special. He does his job. He doesn't really fumble the ball much or turn it over. But he doesn't really have that many great plays. He just catches a million balls because Baker dumps it off, and he's just giving you like 3.9 yards per carry, which is fine. Whatever. Maybe less than that, probably less than that. So Bucky Irvin's the guy I'm going to be targeting late in the second round. And my guy, my new favorite player, I called it on the show on the Fins Talk Sports Network draft show on Saturday. Bobby asked me, "What do you because the Dolphins trade up? What do you think? What do you think should happen here?" I said, and they're talking this safety nonsense or corner or whatever, non-fantasy nonsense. And I'm like, guys, they got Mostert's old busted ass, 32 years old. They got Jeff Wilson, who's BFFs with the IR list. We got Salvin Ahmed, who's just completely useless. We have Devin H. Hand, who can't stay healthy. I'm sorry, I don't trust a running back that can't just stay healthy his rookie season. To me, that just screams red flags, although he will be good in the games he's in. What about running back? What are we doing at running back? As a Dolphins fan, what are we doing? 30 seconds later, boom, we get Jalen Wright. Super fast, super awesome, super great. I'm in love out of Tennessee. He's the guy I will take a shot on in that McDaniels offense. Anywhere starting at 205. Anywhere. Start 205 and beyond. That's where I want this guy because I don't want to miss out on a high chance, a high probability of him, A, playing this year, and B, making an impact.
I like Jalen right there. I had him post-combine as a tier 1 running back. If you can get him in the mid-second round, that's great. I agree with you. What does Miami have at running back? This does fit the mold of that Miami offense. Everybody's really freaking fast. So this is great for them. This is probably Brooks, Benson, and Wright are probably my favorite landing spots for all the big time running backs. I'm not a fan of Marshawn Lloyd's spot, although same situation. Packers go get Joe. I can't say anybody's name tonight. They go get Jacobs, and who knows? Maybe he gets hurt. This is a good spot because I don't think they brought Dillon back. Maybe they did, but Marshawn Lloyd in Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay always runs more than one running back. That's the thing. I mean, they did with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones would get the ball from the 20 to the 20, and then AJ Dillon would get the ball from the 20 to the red zone. So maybe Jacobs Jacobs and Aaron Jones might be the same person. Maybe Marshawn Lloyd is going to get the red zone carries. Blake Corum, of course, we talked about this one. If you want to run your victory parade there about Kyron Williams and the Rams and how they don't trust any running back ever, great. This is your time.
The Rams just don't value running backs. And
No.
I hope listen, I'm a big Kyron Williams is going to be just a flavor of the month kind of running back. I was a big proponent of that, big time. I don't know if you heard me, but I'm big time flavor of the month guy on Kyron Williams. But I'm not. Listen, they don't care. Blake Corum could be the guy by week 6. Kyron Williams can get hurt. Boom, gone, bye, see ya. That's the way the Rams work. They didn't care about Darrell Henderson. They didn't care about Todd Gurley. They didn't care about Cam Akers. They didn't care about anyone they've ever had. What makes you think that they're going to care about Kyron Williams? I don't know, man. I heard Blake Corum sucks anyway. That's what Josh Wingate told me last week.
That's what Wingate says, yeah.
And honestly, Wingate's been hitting on his rookie picks. Big shout out Josh Wingate because he does get his stuff right. He told us all to draft CJ Stroud. He told us all. And we all rejected CJ Stroud. I'll never go against Wingate again. Especially on running backs.
Until he gets the Blake Corum thing wrong, but
you're a big Blake Corum guy. I know.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I don't like the fit for him. Yeah. Other than the 3 that we've talked about, Brooks, Benson, Wright, and Irving. Those are literally my tier 1 guys on my list. I actually had Marshawn Lloyd as tier 3 and Braylon Allen, actually. So that's another spot that I don't love. Braylon Allen to the Jets. That hurts him a lot because he could be an RB1 in the league, and now he has to sit behind Breece Hall.
I'll tell you what, the one thing before we move on to receivers, by the way, I did remember how I was banging the table for Singletary last year in Houston when no one else was, and I drafted him on every underdog team and told everyone that he's going to make an impact because Dameon Pierce is not that good at football. I felt the same way, the same exact way. I lost my train of thought, but there's a running back out there, Michael Carter. That was my guy this year. I'm like, he's going to take over James Conner. Michael Carter's still talented. His talent just didn't go away. We saw it happen. But then when they went out, Arizona and drafted a running back.
Trey Benson.
Trey Benson.
Are you pulling back the Michael Carter statement now?
I'm out. I'm out. And that's what you guys got to do, guys.
One whole week.
All you fantasy experts out there, you got to change. Things happen. Change happens. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. So you might as well change with it. Or keep your take, Ronald Jones truthers, and just look stupid. You can do that.
I just saw a name. I'm going to say this one. Another guy that I actually do like the landing spot for is Tyrone Tracy Jr. from Purdue. He went to the New York Giants. We all know Saquon's not there anymore, and that offense is going to be new this year. I don't think he has a lot to compete with because they have who again? Anybody know?
Who are we talking about?
The Giants.
Yes, they're awful. Who is the running back?
I really could not tell you at the moment. They have Devin Singletary, and Deion Jackson and Matt Breida, because Matt Breida I think is at least 40 years old at this point. I feel like he's been a Giant forever now. I really do like Tyrone Tracy there.
Live trade just went out of my league. By the way, for me, my league. I just made a trade. By the way, it just got accepted. I sent Nicholas Chubb and Darnell Mooney for 212. Pat Freiermuth. That's how little I value Nick Chubb right now. 28 years old. I was going through my roster. This is one that's drafting right now. I'm like going through my roster. I'm like, who can I get rid of? What can I? Because I want these late second round picks I just spoke about to get one of these running backs. And I said, Nick Chubb's 28 years old, and he has that massive, gruesome injury. There ain't no fucking way he's coming back. I'm out on Nick Chubb. What do you think about the trade?
I
didn't know he was 28. I didn't know he was 20. I didn't know he was 28.
Yeah, that's why I've been out on Nick Chubb. That's why when Dave was freaking out on us about how we had Nick Chubb at what, in the 20s somewhere, 28. We literally had him at 28. and he was like, "You guys are so stupid." I'm like,
I remember
he's
that.
28 coming off like what should be a career-ending knee injury, like for any player. That was gruesome. Like, no, I've been out on Nick Chubb for a while
Okay,
now.
I'm glad that because I haven't been mocked yet in the chat, so we'll see if I get mocked. But so far, so good. I'm in the clear. All right, let's go to the receivers real quick. So we have the top dog, Marvin Harrison, the 101. We've been telling you on this show. We've been telling you on the show for months now that Marvin Harrison should be the 101 in every draft period, super flex or traditional. It's going down. There's a lot of fantasy experts out there. Oh, look at me. Marvin Harrison went 101. And people are like, oh, shocked. We're like, what?
Duh.
We've been telling you this. We've been telling you this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I have two reasons why. So it's like the Kyle Pitts effect. When everyone was all in on Kyle Pitts, trading 3 firsts for him, 2 firsts for him, future assets for him, taking him in the top 4. Now that's why Brock Bowers is not falling off a cliff, but he is going later in picks. I've seen him at 111. I've seen him at 109. I've seen him at 104 because my guy just wanted him. Same thing with the quarterbacks. Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Bryce Young so far. The list goes on of just bust after bust after bust. And I got the comments on TikTok. You can't compare this and that and blah, blah. Listen, I'm just telling you how it is. Overcorrection. Then you see the Justin Jeffersons, the Amon-Ra St. Browns, the Jamar Chase, and everyone else, Garrett Wilson, all these breakout phenomenal receivers. Now people are like, I can't miss out on that talent. Because guess what? When Justin Jefferson's scoring 38 points a game, you're winning games. When Marvin Harrison's going to be putting up 25 to 30 points a game, you're going to be winning games. That's why the overcorrection is happening, people. People have been burnt too often on these quarterbacks. So, let's go. What's more sure? What has a more hit rate? A top 5 receiver or top 5 quarterback? It's the receiver. It is always the receiver. So let's go get the sure thing at the 101, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I found this very interesting because I knew this was going to be a topic of conversation when it came to the Marvin Harrison Jr. Conversation. We tweeted out earlier this week, I think actually on maybe Saturday on the 27th, whatever day the 27th was, I tweeted out who is going 101 in Superflex rookie drafts. We got 175 votes on it. Do you know who won? The options were Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or other. Do you know who won this?
I'm going to guess Harrison.
No.
Oh, wow.
Harrison got 25.1% of the votes. Caleb Williams got 72%.
That's nuts.
Because people are overvaluing the quarterback. Even I get it.
No. They're not overvaluing Justin. I understand the concept of taking a quarterback. I'm going to let you go back.
And
I don't think they're overvaluing.
No, in Superflex, great. Take the quarterback, but at the same time, I'm still taking Marvin Harrison Jr. number 101, and no matter what league format I'm in, I don't care if it's tight end premium, I don't care if it's a Superflex. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be scoring the most points of all rookies this season.
Whoa.
And he should be the 101.
Whoa. Listen. We did this before, and I've had to tell people many times that the worst starting quarterback 32, is more valuable than the receiver 15 or whatever it was, right? Just by points per game basis.
Mm-hmm. So you taught me this a couple years ago, and it's helped a lot actually. So
right. So by this knowledge, by knowing the quarterback 32, the worst quarterback in the league is still better than the 15th best receiver. I understand that. But I think people are looking at Justin Jefferson and these other receivers in the past. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I've already named them all. And they're like, God, these guys are Tyreek Hill, literally winning you weeks. Whereas the quarterback position, there's the top guys. There really are the top guys. And then everyone else just falls in line with that same 18 point per game, same stats. Don't matter how many touchdowns they throw. Everyone's lumped into the same. So I'm afraid that people are like, well, Caleb's just going to be another guy in that big old lump. Or Derek Carr can score 23 points and Caleb Williams can score 23 points. And most of the time, they're all going to score 18 anyway. And then you'll have those outlier weeks where Josh Allen scores 40 or where Jalen Hurts scores 35. You'll have those. You'll even have the weeks where Caleb scores 30 to 35. But the majority of the times, just by trends and the way things work, he's just going to fall in line with the rest. Whereas Marvin Harrison, we've seen in this league, it's a receiver-driven league. That's why people are flocking to it. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm in it. But if you want Caleb as well, that's okay. I have 101 in one league. I don't know who I'm taking because I need both.
I have him in one league. I have him in your league, actually.
You have 101?
Yeah.
In cut?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. You're taking Harrison. Cool. Okay, now that we're off on Harrison, we're going to get off our soapbox. We're going to step down. We're going to get down.
The other guys.
We're going to talk about the other guys. If you're still here, thanks for watching. Drop a like, ousffpod.com. Make sure you check that out as well. We have Roma Udunze. I call him Udunes. I don't like to pronounce the A. It's too much. Too many syllables. Xavier Worthy, and Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. I'm lumping all these guys in because I feel like they're all in the same tier, and we all have them lumped together in somewhere. But I did see Ladd McConkey get drafted over Brian Thomas and over Worthy today. Just a note. I don't know why people are loving this Ladd guy so much.
I don't necessarily hate it. Ladd is straight up a really good player.
People love him.
I had him in my top. I had him as the best wide receiver at the combine of the group I saw. I didn't get to see Odunze and Malik Neighbors go, but between McConkey, Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Leggett, and Troy Franklin, I had McConkey as the best. He had a great gauntlet. He did well, and now he's going to the Chargers, who he has to compete against. What, Quentin Johnson?
Jerry Rice's son.
Oh, and Jerry Rice's son. Okay, but I don't see
shout out Jake. Rice. Jake, I know you're never gonna watch this, but shout out to Jake on X, Jake SES, whatever his name is. I'm sorry, he's never gonna see this. Clip this. Can you clip this for me at 37 so I can send this to Jake?
Okay. Yeah, so Jerry Rice's son, he's not going to be Marvin Harrison's son. So I still think Ladd is probably going to be wide receiver 1, maybe even wide receiver 2 on that Chargers team. But I don't know if I'm taking him over Brian Thomas Jr., who is going to be the wide receiver 1 for the Jaguars.
I got Brian Thomas Jr. today at 201, and I'm super stoked about it. I took him over Worthy. I have Brian Thomas as my wide receiver 4. I have Neighbors as my 3. I have Odunes as my 2 and Worthy as my 5. The way we drafted is when the player was ranked, by the way, our initial rankings were, because I think Justin agrees with me, pre-draft rankings are useless. You don't know where players going. You don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. Neighbors was my number 1 receiver coming out of this draft. Sorry, Marvin Harrison. He was. I think he was awesome. And a lot of people did. Some people did. But he went to the Giants. So he's not anymore. He's not. Things happened. Shit happens. I was telling people in my draft, I'm not taking Neighbors ahead of Brian Thomas. I was lying. I'm still taking Neighbors. The situation sucks, right? I put out a video, a short, and go check that on our YouTube page as well, where not one receiver that Daniel Jones has ever has had over 760 yards total the entire season. Darius Slayton has been the wide receiver 1 for the New York Giants 3 out of the last 4 years. Now, is it the chicken or the egg? Is it because Daniel Jones is awful or because of his staff is awful? We don't know. Or his coach is awful. We don't know yet. We have no idea. Daniel Jones is going to struggle to get this man the ball. I saw a tweet. Neighbors is in line for 150 targets. What are these good in the dirt over his head? 5 yards to the right. What good are these targets if they're not actually landing in the target? And people are like, well, it's not going to be like that forever, man. Right? He's not going to have Daniel Jones forever. That's the point. We don't know who he's going to have after Daniel Jones. It's not the same situation as Justin Jefferson, guys. He was established. It didn't matter who his quarterback was. He's an established stud. This is a rookie coming out of college, going into one of the worst situations you could possibly go into. Period. It is. Giants fans will tell you that. I'm sorry, guys. I love Neighbors. I still have him at 3. I'm still going to take him because of the opportunity, because hoping he can get out of that situation or hoping they put it all together, right? Josh Allen wasn't Josh Allen until he got Stephon Diggs. People forget that. So maybe Daniel Jones just needed a receiver. Maybe this is the receiver that gets him over the hump and makes him an elite quarterback. But don't talk about 2022 when Daniel Jones was quarterback 7 when he threw for 15 touchdowns. Can't do that. Can't. Nope, don't like it.
Nope.
I'm on fire
it's
tonight, Justin. I'm just feeling angry, man. Because I wanted him to go somewhere good.
I touched on it at the start. We talked about Xavier Worthy, and how we had him ranked at like 3, I think. Maybe even 2, but I think it was 3. And we adjusted, like I said, you get that initial sticker, you peel that sticker off and you're like, okay, is he actually 3? Like, so we moved him both down. We moved him to 4 and 5. The rest of the crew did not, which is keeping him at 3. It's fine. It's fine. But I think he's going to get overdrafted really quickly. He's definitely going to be drafted in the first round. I would be leaning towards the end of the first round for Xavier Worthy, just because Travis Kelce is still there. I mean, he does exist still, right? Like Travis Kelce is a tight end for the Chiefs, and that's Mahomes' favorite target. I know this is funny and ironic that I'm saying this because I was out on Travis Kelce all last year, but it's fine. I'm going to continue riding the Kelce train this year in fantasy, but I was about to say Ray Rice. Oh my God. Rashee Rice is not going to be gone all season. Maybe 4 games, probably 4 games, if that. So Xavier Worthy is not going to be the only target in Kansas City. He's fast, yes, but he's not going to be the only target. So yeah, Harrison, Odunze, 1 and 2, of course. Malik Neighbors, 3. Somebody I like outside of the top 5, Keon Coleman, 2, Buffalo. Probably going to be their wide receiver 1, I would assume. I like him. I don't know if you've seen any of his interviews. I like him even more from his interviews. Oh, they're funny. You should just go watch his interviews.
I will. Now that you told me he's funny.
Troy Franklin landing in Denver to play with his college QB, Bo Nix. That's interesting to me. Not a huge Troy Franklin guy. Honestly, I think he's not going to be that good, but playing with your college quarterback is fun sometimes, I guess. So
they did it all. Hollywood and Kyler. They waddle into ETN and Trevor Lawrence. That was a big trend 2 years ago.
Carr and Adams.
Boom. That was a big trend. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
These guys are a little too late. A little too late to the party, guys. But hey, I really like guys like that. I like late. I really like Pearsall. I can't say guys. I still can't say Harry Keneal Harry. Still can't say that name. Don't know if it's Harry Keneal or Keneal Harry.
It's Keneal Harry.
Is it? I drafted.
It doesn't matter anymore because he isn't in the league. So.
Am I the only person on this earth that drafted CEH and Harry 101 on the same team, in the same league? Am I the only person on earth? Because I feel like I'm just,
That's a bad beat, Josh. I would not admit that on a podcast. We talk about fantasy.
Hey man, we all swing and miss. When you have 29 leagues, you gotta take chances, right? Swing and miss. That's what you do, right? You
Every team can't be the same team, right?
Good point, Justin. Good point. And I'll say this before we move on to maybe we can get to Brock Bowers. I really don't care if we talk about him at all. It's just he's good. He's going to be awesome.
Do we need to talk about tight ends? It's Brock Bowers and then Jatavian Sanders. That's it. Like that's really it.
So the year of Smith, Chase, Waddle, all these guys, I took multiple. Like let me get Smith here, let me get Waddle here, let me get Chase here. Like I just took because not that I'm like, oh, I'm hedging. You are kind of hedging your bet. Because if you go all in on one guy and he sucks, you're screwed. But those guys, we all knew they were going to be good. So in this situation right here, where you have Odunes, Worthy, Neighbors, Thomas, like Coleman, Harrison, it's okay to go sprinkle around and get different guys in different situations. It's okay, guys. You don't have to be married to these people. These people don't even know you exist. You can.
That's the important part that my wife keeps trying to tell me, and I can't believe her every time she says it.
These guys aren't waiting
I care.
They ain't waiting for Justin Farley to pick him at 105 on sleeper, right? They're not waiting. They don't care. They don't know who you are. But it's okay for you to play around, to mess around, to mingle with other receivers. Don't go all in. Don't go, I got to get Ladd on every team. I got to get Brian Thomas on every team. That's how you end up getting screwed over in the long run, in my opinion.
Do you want to go with a deep pick? I mean, we've talked about like the top guys who are going to go in the first round and a half. You want to talk about the guy that you would target in the third round?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Do you have a guy? I mean,
no, I don't. I don't.
Brendan Rice, like
Brendan Rice, baby.
Luke McCaffrey would be a fun guy to pick if you can get him in the third round. I assume you probably can get him in the third round. I mean, we have him ranked at 18 right now. So going to Washington, where we know Dotson can't hold a ball down. Terry McLaurin is good, but I mean, like, does he like being in Washington? Outside of those two, like, who do they have? Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
Luke McCaffrey is fun. We know what that family gene pool does. So that's Christian McCaffrey's brother, if you didn't know, Josh.
I knew that.
Okay.
I knew that. When's Tua's brother coming out?
He's already out.
Why isn't he on our rankings? What's going on?
He's 15. He's 15. He technically is not on a team, but he is going to the rookie camps for the Seahawks.
Sounds awesome to me. Is Jeremiah Thrash James Thrash's son?
I don't know.
Because that'd be awesome. Look at this. We have Frank Gore Jr. We have Jerry Rice's kid. We got James Thrash's kid. We got
Marvin Harrison's kid.
Ed McCaffrey's other kid. We've got
Frank Gore's kid is in the in this draft.
I said that at first. Where did he went to Buffalo, which makes me upsetting.
Like this was the draft of like all of our childhood like stars, sons coming out in the end of the draft.
Yeah.
And then here soon coming up, we've got Arch Manning coming out. Like,
yes.
Like this is gonna be crazy. But another guy that I like out here, Jacob Cowing for San Francisco. Again, we go back to if the 49ers trade both Debo and Ayuk, somebody has to catch the ball other than Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, and it might be Jacob Cowing. So
it might be, and this is a name I want to throw out there because they need somebody. Jalen Polk, New England. We have them.
Somebody has to be that wide receiver one on that team. That's the thing. You got Jalen Polk, you've got Javon Baker, like
Demario Douglas. I don't know if Kendrick Bourne is still there. I have no idea. New England is a disaster. I am happy for it. I'm here for it. This was the New England I knew before Tom Brady. And this is the New England we all knew and loved before Tom Brady. If you're a Gen Z guy like Justin over here, you wouldn't know that life. Jacob.
I'm a millennial. Don't call me Gen Z.
Does anyone here watching comment in the below if you watched football before Tom Brady? Comment below because there's a lot of guys that did not. That's it for the show.
My New England Patriots was Drew Bledsoe. Oh, it's over. We're done.
Oh, can you hear it now? All right, yeah, that's right. See, I handle when we cut things off nowadays, guys. I am the new producer of the show. Thank you for watching, guys. It's been a blast. No, I'm not the producer. I'm not. X. It's not. Speaking of X, make sure you. Oh, by myself. Speaking of X, make sure you follow us on X, OUSFF Pod. Go to our website. It's tremendous, OUSFFpod.com. Make sure you follow all the guys and watch all the shows at Fins Talk Sports Network. Until next week, guys, we are out. We will bring some fun times, and make sure you stick around and watch our shorts throughout the week. Love you guys. We're out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.